I forgot. Damn. Can you hear me now? Apparently, I forgot to like turn on my my audio interface. Hope you can hear me now. And I have said a lot so far. Wow. Okay, you know what? Okay, before I even continue, let me just confirm that you can hear me, so as to avoid. Can you hear me now? I think you should. You should be able to hear me now. So while I wait for that confirmation, let's see. And I've said a lot. How do I? Okay, you know what? Let me just start from the beginning again. Okay, so I was saying where we stopped last week was we created this validation schema, and I was having an error, or we were having an error, and I realized that I was calling the email function or the email rule wrongly. It's supposed to be called as a function and not as an as a maybe as a key to the to the object, or as a key. So it's supposed to be called like this. Same thing was also happening with the confirm rule. So I was calling it like this instead of calling it as a function. So that was what was causing the error that we got at the end of the stream from last week. So I was not saying that I intend to like build everything from scratch, and just as I said last week that I was going to like focus on the functionality first. Then after that is done, then we can now start styling and making it beautiful. And then I realized from last week stream and how long it took us to get to this point that that might not be very, very a good approach. So I was thinking, so why not just use Flare, which is a package I created for quickly scaffolding authentication in AdonisJS application. So it comes with the things that you will need in authentication, like signing up, registering, email verification, password confirmation, password reset, the password reset flow. So and it comes with some basic styling also. So I was thinking, so at least let's use this so as to give us that that base that we need to build on when the time when we start adding styling. So that was what I started doing. Yeah. And so let me just explain because I've run this command now twice. So Flare uses Tailwind CSS and Alpine for styling and a little JavaScript interaction. And the package will install those dependencies at the point of running the configure command or configuring the package, and it will create a lot of files, like as you can see. So it creates the model, the controllers, the view files, and some of them that has been already created that we've created ourselves. It skipped them, like the validation we created from last from last stream, and then it also skipped the. I think I mean the first time I ran the command, it also skipped the. Where is it now? It also skipped the layout file because I already created a layout file. So that was why I had to like delete them, because I would prefer to use the layouts file, the layout that comes with Flare. So that was why I had to like rerun the command. And I realized, then I looked at this chart and I saw that I was muted, and I had to like do a recap. So basically, what I run the so now that the second run of the command, of course, it has created some of the files before, so it skipped those ones that it has created and created the ones that are not there yet. So I'm going to end or complete the configuration process by registering this middleware. This middleware is inside the kernel.cs file. Then also the layout. So this is not the layout. Okay, this is the layout from Flare, and then we have the register form or the register page from Flare. So we are going to like tweak this to match what we are building soon. Then also it's created migration files as well as models, or the user model and the user stable migration. And remember from last this thing, we've already created it. So you notice now we have 3 users migration, and that is because we've run the one we created ourselves from last week. Then we've run the Flare configure command twice. So for each of those, it's created the migration file or the migration file. So this is the one we'll be using, which is the one we created ourselves, and it contains the necessary fields we need. So I'm going to get rid of this other 2. Yeah. And also get rid of one of the password reset token migration file. Then let's look at the user model. I think it might have overwritten it. Yes. So we'll need to like recreate those columns from the users table, again. Yeah. So let me open this on the side so we can see. No, not this. I want to open this on this side. Okay. So let me close that so I can have some real estate and see what we are doing. I just hope you can hear me and you can see my screen correctly. Okay, so we already have the name, we already have the email, we already have password, remember me token, email verification. So let me add that here also. Email verification is going to be, let me just add it here. Let me duplicate this. Email verification. Sorry, verified at, and it's going to be nullable. Email, yeah, verified at, yeah. So what else? So let's create this ones. The complaint details or the complaint column. Let's add it here. It's going to be company name. company slug, which we'll be using Adonis, the Lucid Slugify package for this. So let me create the column first, then I'll put that in. You know what? Since I've already created this thing before, let me just go to my no, okay, that won't work. Okay, I think the only option we have is just to recreate it. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't factor that I didn't factor that before running the configure command. Your company name is going to be a string. Company slug is going to be a string and not nullable. So we have company location. Then we have company about. Oh, but what if instead of having to you know what? I'm going to copy all the I'm going to move all the company details into their to their respect, the dedicated migration and model. So can have those ones there. I'll just reference it from the reference it from the user. So I talked about that last week, and so let me just do that. So I'm going to create a model. And I will call company, and I will create a migration for it as well. The company model, to paste this here. So I think I can just get rid of the. So now I think we can get rid of the company prefix, since we are directly inside the company model. Let me rename this to lowercase. This should be website. Website. I think URL is more descriptive than website. Yeah, I think so. Let me use URL. So company URL, company website, which is more descriptive, or which sounds more reasonable. Company website, company URL, company website. Well, I'm going to leave it as company URL for now. Company websites, company URL, company. Anyways, naming things is hard, just as we know in programming. So let me just leave it like this. So some of the fields can be nullable. Let's indicate that. So name and slug are required. The location can be nullable. So let me make this a string or null. About also can be nullable. URL can be URL is not nullable. Okay, logo, we need another one for logo. Company logo, this can be nullable. I remember I said from the last stream that we'll be making use of what's it called now? Lucid attachment light. So let me go attachment light. Yep. So this is what we'll be using to handle the file upload or company logo uploads. So I've already installed it from the last lesson. So we're just making use of it now. So this will be attachments, and this will be attachment contract. Yeah, I think I got that right. Yep. Okay, so this should be attachments with lowercase a, not this one. Let me get rid of that. And so what else? So we have the company name, the slug, the location, about, websites, logo. Yeah, I think oh, before I forget, let me create the admin, this admin column also. Let me create it under password, after password. So column public is admin. It's going to be a boolean, and that will default to false. That would default to false. So let me head back. While we are here, let me install Lucid Slugify. So we'll use that for the slug, just as I said earlier. Then once that is done, we can configure it. Okay, and then we can make use of it like this. So I'm just going to copy this, and we'll copy the whole thing. Again, sorry. There's a slug, so this should be like so. Let's pull that in from the Slugify package, and the field that the slug will be built from will be the name, the company's name. So I think we are good on the model. We'll come back to the model when we are setting up the relationship between the user and the user and the company. So talking about relationships, so let me just create so we need the user ID on this field, on this column also, on this model also, I mean. So public user ID, which is going to be number. Now let's go to the migration file. I'm going to grab all this so that we only have the user's details here. Yep. Then go to the company's migration file. And get rid of the company prefix. So I said this should be URL, and here let's also add the column for the user ID field. This is going to be a big int. Okay, let me just use int. Hold on, let me check. Okay, so yeah, I think we can. Let's just use int jar. This is going to be the user underscore ID, and it's going to be unsigned, and it's going to be not nullable, and it's going to reference what's it called? It's going to reference the user ID column on the users table. So it's going to reference the ID table on the users column. So I think we can do it like this: users.id. Then if we want, we can add what will happen on delete. Say on delete. So let's just cascade. And then on updates. You know what? Let's leave out the on deleting. Let's leave out this. So pending when we have, like, when we think it through properly, so as to avoid any unforeseen situation. So we already have the necessary fields now. You know what? I'm going to, because I've already run the migration before, I'm going to refresh the migration. Then if I come here and refresh, you should see refresh. Okay, sorry, I'm in the wrong database. So inside the Adonis one, if I refresh, we should see the user details, the user table, just as we have before, but now and it's referenced by the user. If you look at the structure, it's supposed to be a foreign key constraint. Okay, yeah. Maybe because I'm new to Postgres, I'm used to like how this is being displayed in MySQL, so I don't know if it's correct, but I will assume it. I will go with the flow that it is correct, so that it is referencing the user ID on the user's table. I mean the foreign key. So let's head back. So I think we now have everything that we need. So I can get rid of. I can close this out. So now let's create the relationship between the company and the okay. So yeah, I was talking about the relationship. So so the relationship between the user and the company is going to be a one-to-one relationship. I think it makes sense that way. A company can belong to a company a user. So a company can belong to a user, while a user can have just one company. I know, like, probably in the real world, like, people have multiple complaints, but for the sake of this our stream, and for the sake of this our application, let's make it such that it's just one-to-one. And to create the relationship, okay, let's start creating the base or the main relationship, which will be inside the user model. So it's going to be as one. This accepts a closure that points to the company model. The company model has been imported for us, and this will be public, and the name of the relationship is going to be company, and it's going to be a type of as1, and the type is going to be of company. Yep. So I think as1 has been imported at the top here. So what we need to do now is create the inverse of this, which will be inside the user, so inside the company model. So here is going to be belongs to, and this belongs to a user, and we're going to call the relationship just user, and this will be, which will be a type of belongs to. Something is wrong. Am I correcting the one? Okay. User has been imported. Belongs to user public type. Okay. Type of, yeah. So there's a typo there. So now we have the relationship between the user and the column. So now let's move forward and create that sign up form we are talking about. Let me come here and display the sign up form again, so we know what we are building, or the fields that we'll be needing. So we have the name, the email, password confirmation, then we have the company profile, or the company information, which is just the name and the URL. Sign up. Let's go to the sign up view. Let me check again. So personal information. Okay, first let me load the sign up view here. Okay, so I need to compile. Remember I said this uses Tailwind CSS and Alpine, so I need to like compile the assets. So let me think. I need to restart this so that Webpack and core can also start. So I think serve. Okay, yeah. So we're going to just ignore this the error. So let's go. Okay, the page has been refreshed. So you can see that we have a different interface now because of Flare. So this is the interface that comes with Flare, and I think this is better than having that very basic form. So let's create a new account. Then we have personal information, and again, as I said, we're not going to care about styling. So let me just dump everything on the single. Let me just stack everything upon top each other. So name, email, password. So we only need the information about the company. So let me bring this back so you can see the files that we are on. Let me copy. I'm going to copy this so I will just duplicate that instead of having to like type everything from scratch. And this will be the company name. this will be, maybe I will call it company. Let me just select all of them. So this will be company name. Then the last one is going to be the company URL. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, I think this will do for now. Let's head back to the validation, register validation. So this is the one that came from, or that comes with Flare. And okay. Oh no, let me just let's copy the other ones that we've already defined there. I'm just going to add them here. Then what else? So the email is already there, name is already there, password. So those ones are already there as I would expect. So yeah, so validation message. So this has validation message, validation error messages. So we have for the required rule, unique password. We have for length, specifically for the password length field. Password length. We also have for the password confirmation. I think we need to add one for this for the URL. So let's say URL and say the what can we say here? Let's say the company URL, yeah, must be a valid URL. I think that will do. And let's not forget to change this to company URL. I think this will do. Let's see. I'm not sure I'm displaying any validation. Okay, yeah, we are displaying. So we have the necessary validation messages, and if I try entering anything here, should have, yes, the company URL must be valid, must be a valid URL, just as we expect. I think we can also make use of the proper HTML, the input type for that particular field. So I think we should have a URL, sorry, type URL. I think yeah, please enter a valid URL. Yeah, correct. So at least we have that from the front end, and also we have it at the back end. So I think we are good to go. So let me just close, so I can delete this one now, since I already copied everything I need from it. Let me see if I can bring that back. Nope. Anyways, let's move on. Let me close this. Close. Okay, so inside the sorry. So now inside the register controller, so let's use the correct file, and we can. So now the payload will contain both the user details and the company's details, and so we've created the company here. So also we can create the. So we've created the user here. Let's also. you know what, let's be explicit with yeah, so we know what and what we are doing. Or okay, so I think we can make use of some little JavaScript. We can make use of little JavaScript. I think we can make use of the spread to get what and what we need without having to like explicitly like specify them inside the create method. So we know that every other details here is for the user aside just the company name and the company URL. So why not say we spread out we get the company name, we get the company URL, then everything else should be let me see, payload. So payload here now will contain just the user's details, so the name, the email, and the password. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Then let's save the let's save the company's, let's persist the details for the company. Okay, so since we already have the relationship between the user and the company, so I'm just going to make use of that relationship. So we can say await user dot related. So we get the company relationship or relation, whichever is appropriate. Then we can create. So the name would be, let me just bring this down. The name would be the company name. Then the URL is going to be the company URL. I hope this makes sense. So instead of having to like do this for each of the fields on the user model, though the fields are not much, but just I think it's good to have to know that we can do it this way in case we have like a field or a model that has like a lot of fields, so we can easily just grab what we want, like the thing that we like. We can easily grab some of the things we want, then spread out the remaining one. Or is spread or rest? We get the rest. I think rest is the correct word or correct and term. So this is the rest. So we've gotten just this and this. Then this everything else will be inside the payload. This payload variable, which is what we are passing to the user. The create method on the user model. So we created the user. We created the user's company. We are emitting that the user has been created, or that the user has registered, so I'm emitting an event. Remember, we created this from the last lesson, and then we have this also. And I think, okay. Oh, I think no, I think I created this register controller. This is the one we created from last lesson. So it's basically the same thing as we have here. Basically the same thing, just that this one is the one that comes from Flare, and this one is now more or less redundant. So we can delete this. But before we do, let's confirm that we don't need it. We don't need any information from here. So we validated the form data. We've passed it to the database. We fired an event. So we're going to send an email. That will be done inside the event handler, just as I mentioned last week. And then we log the user in, then redirect. So I think we can get rid of this. Then this is doing almost everything that we have there. So since we don't really have a dashboard yet, I think we do from Flare. So let me just let's leave it as this. Then we will tweak it as we go along. So next, let's go to the routes. You notice we now have a bunch of things inside the routes. All of them are created by Flare. So we have the typical home page, a dashboard, which we are going to like tweak. Then we have the routes to register. and verify login password, forget password, and the normal password thing, and the normal authentication routes, as I explained earlier, that Flare provides. And you notice that everything have been namespaced inside an auth directory, that's inside the controllers directory. So, which is this? So everything is now inside an auth directory. I think it makes sense that way. So we know that every auth related thing will be inside this auth directory. Same way we have every auth related views inside this auth directory. So I think we can give it a shot and try signing up. Let me sign up. The company name is going to be Meze Labs. The URL is going to be, I think I have http mezelabs.dev. And if we get everything correctly and and there's no screw up, this should work as expected. And it does. So we got an appropriate success message that we've signed up successfully. So if I come to the database and refresh this, we should see the details about the company, just as we supplied, the Meze Labs, and so the slug has been built from the company's name, thanks to the Lucid Slugify package. This is the URL and every other details. So, and the user ID has been linked to the user because of the relationship, because of the foreign key that we added when we created the migration file. So this is the details about the user that owns that company, and of course this is not an admin because we said that to be false by default. So I think that is that about user registration. And based on the fact that based on the fact that Flare comes with every other thing with about authentication, automatically we have the login functionality. So I can log in, as you can see. I can log out. So what we need to do now is let me first log in. It's okay. In fact, I think we can. Let me explain what I want to do first. What I think we should do next. The stream is how much time are we using? Where can I say my time? Hold on. How long have we been? Okay, I think we are a little over an hour. So I tend to do today's stream to make this stream at least 1 hour 30 minutes thereabout. So I think let's see what we can do the next 30 minutes. Then after that we'll call it a day. Then continue from there next week. So I think now we can post a job. Let me sign in here so I can see the flow again. So we can see the flow again. Okay, so this is the form. So we need a new model, which will be a job model that comprises of these fields. So we have the title, description, how to apply. I don't think we're going to save how to apply inside the database, but we will see. So we have the link. So if you're applying by email, if you're applying by URL, then we have the types, the location, the category, the salary, and if it is remote or not. Okay, so let's start by creating the job model and migration file. Is make model should be job. Then we'll create the migration also. So let me just to see how I did it in the Laravel application. I'm going to head over to the Laravel application. Let me close this out and close this and go to the models and job mode. Sorry, I mean I'm not in. I mean, this is a Laravel application, so we don't need to specify. We don't need to like redefine the model, the fields or the column inside the model. So I'm supposed to go to a jobs table. Okay. So these are the fields. So user ID, of course, these are that creates that is creating the job, the title, the description, apply, the apply URL, apply. Okay, this is how I did it then. So let me just flow with it. So we have the method of application, or the method of how you want to apply, which can be either which can either be through a URL or through email. So if it is URL, you provide this. If it is through email, you provide this and the subject, the email address and the subject. The type of job, so it may be a full-time, I think. So the type may be full-time, part-time, and contract. Okay. Then the category, the location, which is this. So which is this. Then we have the category. Then we have to check if it is remote or not. Then we have also if it is closed or not, which will be okay. Then salary, then when it was closed. You know what, I'm just going to grab all this, grab all of them, and head over to the Adonis application and open the migration file and basically just paste them in. Of course, they're going to blow out because this is a JavaScript file or a TypeScript file. So let me tweak. I'm not sure. Okay, we don't have unsigned. We don't have a column for this. We don't have this in AdonisJS, at least not yet. So this is going to be integer. And we're going to say make it and it's going to be unsigned and not nullable, and it's going to reference the users table. It's going to reference the ID the ID table. Sorry, it's going to reference the ID column on the users table. So users.id, and I think we can also do references ID. I think we can also do it this way. Then in table, so this is another way of doing it. So this is more of like the long form of doing what I just did. So we can either do it this way or just pass the user the table inside the reference method like this and get rid of this. So I think any will do. Lately I've been leaning towards, or lately I've been using this, but just to let us know that you have the option. So I'm going to use this approach here. Then we can let's say on delete, let's cascade down. Cascade. Then the title again is going to be okay. No, let me just. Okay, so that is not going to, is going to be not nullable, and it's going to be what again? Title not. I think that is that about the title. Then same thing for the description. Then how to apply is not going to be nullable, so you can either select URL or email. I think we could have maybe make it an enum. You know what? Let's leave it this way. Then how to apply, the apply URL is going to be nullable, since it can either be an email or a URL. Same thing here. This is going to be nullable. You see the similarity between you see the close similarity between Adonis and Laravel. I only need to just make the syntax applicable to the language, which is in this case JavaScript. Most of the methods and the structure are pretty much the same, or very identical. Let me not say pretty much the same. They are very identical. Okay. Then the subject is nullable. Yep. You know what? I'll come back to these three. Let me tackle these ones first. So the boolean remote is the job, a remote job. It's going to be it's going to be by default. It's going to be false. So I'm going to set default to. So Laravel uses default. AdonisJS uses default to. Yeah, it's default to again. The salary is going to be nullable. Okay, I think it makes sense. For maybe some companies don't disclose their salary, or they don't like specify the salary on job listing. So I think that is why I made this nullable then. So let's just flow with it. So closest out is going to be he's saying, I think this should be a date timestamp. Yeah, I think timestamps is going to make sense here, and it can be nullable. Okay, so these three fields require additional explanation. That is why I said I'll come back to it. So for the job, so what I have here, what I add, we have a job type model, location model, and as well as category model that pulls their records or details or data from the database. So for us to be able to do that in Adonis, we also need to like create those models and the tables and seed them with some data. So I think I need to I will need to create the models and the migrations for those. But the thing now is Adonis will execute the migration at the way they are created, like the natural way they appear. You know what? Let's create them first, and we'll see if it throws an error. We'll come back and fix it. So I'm going to create a job type model, a location model, then lastly a category model, of course, and the migration files. So okay, so let's update this now. Integer. This is going to be not nullable, and I think it's going to be unsigned. No, I think it's going to be unsigned. Then let's add a reference to the job types table, job underscore types dot id. We're not going to do anything on delete or on cascade. Sorry, on delete or on update. So let me just let me copy these so I can use them here. So the category is going to be an integer. It's going to be unsigned. Oh, I didn't copy unsigned, so unsigned, not unique, unsigned. Then and this would be categories dot id. Here will be on integer also, dot unsigned, and it's going to be nullable. So no, it's going to be nullable because since it can be removed, so let's call this properly. Since so we are making the location nullable because we can check to make it. If you are saying that it is remote, then we don't need the location. So that is why location ID here is nullable. And if I come back here and say if I check this, you notice that location has been disabled. So that is why it is nullable here. So I can save to reformat. I think we should be good to go on the jobs model. So next we need to do the same thing in the what's it called, in the job model. So let me close this so I can open the job model in a new column. So this will be public user ID, which will be a number. So I'm going to duplicate this. Then the other one will be for the job type. Job type ID. Then another one for the category ID. So all of them won't be nullable. So then next we have the title. Public title should be a string. I have description. If I can spell description correctly, yeah, description. Before I forget, let's add the location, the ID for the column for location, and this is going to be either a number or nullable. What else? So okay, next is apply. It should be a string. Then we have let me duplicate that a couple of times. So we have apply URL. It can either be a string or null. Then we have the apply email. Again, either string or null. Then apply email subject. Subject. I've added this, so we're left with this. Public is remote. It's going to be Boolean. Then we have is closed. which will also be a boolean. Then we have salary, which will be a string. Then lastly we have closes at it closes at okay, I think if I remember correctly, I think closes at it will be okay. Let me go to the application and see again. I think there is a time frame where the job will be open for your job posting will be open for 6 days, for 60 days, after which it will be automatically expire. That is if you don't close it here. If you don't close it first, that is after you might have like gotten someone for the role or for the job. Okay, so closes this is going to be date time or null. So at the point of creating the job, we will add we will specify when the job will be closed, that is in 60 days time. What else? I think that is that about the columns. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the job to the job types. Let's see the fields that are there. Job type. So it only has it has 5 fields or 6 fields. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. 6 fields. Created that and updated that inclusive. So any of this how am I doing on time? Okay, so this will be not nullable. This will be not nullable also, and it's going to be, let me put unique. Then the color, okay, not nullable also. So based on this color, based on the color is what is displayed here. I think yeah, this the border and the text color is based on the color, I think. Yeah, but once we like get into it, we'll know for sure. But I think that is how I did it then. So yep. So let's go to the model. You know what? Let me just copy from the company model. Since I already did something similar here. Of course, we need to pull this in, and we'll add another one for the color. Okay, so next is category. Categories. Almost okay, but more or less the same set of fields. So let's duplicate, or let me just copy this since I already have the file, and come to category model and paste, and also put this in. Then for the migration, basically the same thing. Then let's see. Location, I think location is a bit okay, just a field less, but still basically the same thing. So no color column here. I think we now have everything we need. So we have the job type, we have category, we have location, we have category. I think that is pretty much it. So let's run the migration. I think we are going to have an error, but let's see, and we'll debug it if the error comes up. Yep, just as I expected. So the job type doesn't exist yet, because if you look at the sorry about that. Yeah, so I was saying I knew we were going to get this error because at the point of inside the where we are making reference to the jobs, to the job types, to the job types table, it doesn't exist at that point. So if you look at the way the migrations are structured, or the way they appear is inside the migration files, inside the migration directory, you will see that of course we created the jobs migration first, so it comes first, and at this point, where is it? And at this point, yeah, this point, this table doesn't exist because it's the next migration that needs to be run. But so that's how we're getting that error. So what we need to do is, but as I said earlier also, that Adonis run the migration the way they appear. So it will run this just like the way they appear, or the way the order in which they appear in the migrations directory. I think there is a configuration, or there's a way we can tweak that. Let me see. I think there is a way we can enable maybe natural sorting inside the database config file. I'm not too sure. Okay, this is natural sorting. I've not used this before, so I don't know what it does. But I know I've encountered it. Let's see if we can get any details from here, from the type. No details whatsoever. Natural sort. You know what? Let's just do what I would do normally. So if I come, let me just close this out. So if I come back to the migrations directory again, so what I would do normally is find a way to like bump, to bring this at the top and bring this one down, since the order is important here. Or better still is to create, like, to analyze your data structure, your database structure very well, and your table structure very well. So you know that then based on that you create them in the order in which you know that they will be needed. So with that, we need to move the jobs migration, we need to move it down. So what I can do is, instead of having to like try to like mess with the timestamps, I'm just going to quickly create a new migration. this will be jobs. The name doesn't really matter. I only need the timestamps. So they're more or less the same thing. So I'm just going to copy everything here and move it here. I think I copied the whole. Yep. So I miss one. Yeah. So jobs. So I can get rid of this. And now, if we are in luck, the migration should run. I'm sure we have that. So I think we are going to stop here today. So next week we will start creating the jobs itself. We'll start creating the job. We'll start creating jobs. I think we are, and this is a good. I think this is a good place to stop today's stream. So next week we will look at creating jobs. And also I know we will need a migration to seed the database with some columns, with some categories, the categories, the location, and the job types. So we'll tackle this and job creation in the next stream. So if you have any question, you can leave them in the chat or in the comment section after, maybe in case you are watching this video later on. And also, if you are joining, for those that joined early and I didn't notice I was muted, and I've talked probably close to 20 minutes or so without knowing that I was muted, so I'm sorry about that. Like I said, I'm still new to the whole streaming thing, and so these kind of errors are bound to happen. So going forward, I will know to avoid them. Yeah, I just hope the rest of the stream is not muted. So anyways, I'll see you guys next week. And again, don't forget, if you have any question, drop them. And also, if you want, subscribe to the channel, and so you can get notified when we create new videos or when there is a new stream coming up. So yeah, later.